leave these guys for like 6 weeks. What do you want to see when they come back?
Well, I just want to see the guys are ready to roll. I mean, first of all, be in physical shape, and then be mentally prepared. A big part of it right now for us will be their retention when they get back to training camp. Are they physically prepared? We'll do our conditioning test just to make sure. But then, are they mentally prepared? Have they studied? Have they taken their notes with them and reflected on the things that we did? This past 4 weeks during OTAs and minicamp.
How important is it for the players and coaches as well to have this time kind of away from the field?
Well, from my perspective, as far as just rejuvenating and get yourself ready to roll, it's important. But you always worry because you want these guys to come back ready to roll and ready to play football. But after 4 good weeks of learning, the process of preparing and getting ready to play, it'll be interesting to see. I always, I get it, I understand it because I've been through it. You just wish there was a way that you could, touch bases with them again, but you can't because that's, basically by the rules.
Ron, what's your expectation of where Cam will be? How much you'll be able to do when he comes back?
Well, I just look forward to opening up training camp. We'll see how he is. He had a great day today. In fact, he threw a little bit more than we had anticipated. He was feeling really good, threw the wide receivers, threw some deeper balls again. He's gone through every step that we've asked. So I'm just excited, and I'll look forward to it once we get training camp July 24th.
Do we take that to mean that he's feeling well and everything is going?
So far, so good. And again, he'll just continue to progress through their program that they set up. They obviously have a plan for him, how he's going to work, who he's going to work with. And they'll do like they've done in the past. My understanding is that he and a group of the receivers will get together, and they'll go on their little getaway just before we come together. So, I'm very happy to hear all that stuff.
What's Chris Hogan brought to this group?
Well, I'll tell you, you got a very veteran guy, very smart, crafty receiver, and he's a pro. And I think the young guys that we have, can be impacted by a guy like that that's been there, been a big part of a championship. And it's been good to watch him interact with the other young receivers. So that's been one of the big pluses that he's brought.
Ron, I know yesterday we talked a little bit about James and how you would like to keep him around here. Shaq is sort of in a similar situation. Have you guys had any conversations?
Oh yeah, I mean those are young guys that you do most certainly want to have around because they are going to impact your team for years to come. They're both, I think, at the point where they're getting ready to take the next step, which is very important in our development as a football team. So you most certainly do want those guys around. Because they are, first of all, the right kind of young men that you want on your team.
Do you feel like switching a little bit, going a little bit more multiple, allows Shaq some opportunities to show up?
Very much so. I think that's one of the things that we've seen in his development over the last couple of years was his versatility. Everything from having him line up and the nickel position, covering wide receivers, to doing some safety work for us, which you guys didn't catch, so that's good.
Ron, are there a couple things that you guys didn't quite get fully accomplished that you're looking forward to doing in training camp? Like I know the other day you said you would have liked to seen a little more of Ian. Any areas that
that's probably the biggest thing is we had a number of guys that were still going through the rehab process. And you want to see those guys on the field. Ian, you want to see Darrell Williams, who's had a great offseason, and excited to see him back on the football field. Trey worked through some things. Obviously, we didn't have Shaq full-time out there as well. So, I'm excited about getting all those guys back out there on the football field once we come to training camp July 24th, excuse me.
And then you work, obviously Cam's timing will be
yes. That's always a work in process, and that's kind of what in progress. That's kind of what happens, when you don't go through a spring. But again, he's had a good off season. He's done everything that I know the trainers, the doctors have asked of him, and he's still got a little bit more work left to go in the next 4.5, 5 weeks. So again, as I said, I'm excited, looking forward to getting to training camp.
Now that you've gone through OTAs and minicamps, can you give us an updated evaluation on both sides of the ball?
Well, probably the biggest thing as far as the defense is concerned is the picking up some of the things that we want to do, some of the different looks and that we're working on. I think that's pretty exciting. They picked it up very quickly. They seem to adapt themselves very well to it. And based on some of the tape, had a chance to watch, I think the guys really see how it can impact the game. So I'm excited about that. Offensively, now we're going into our second season with it. I think the scheme is really coming along very nicely. Probably the biggest thing you got to see were the skill positions. you see the growth there. So that's the other plus.
Is
Coach, a lot of the
Cam to a
guys
point where he can do his whatever's left with his rehab in Atlanta, or will he be here, or kind of?
Well,
both places?
that's you know, that's all part of what RV's plan is. And again, I'm not going to get into his plan specifically because you know, that's something that RV's working with the doctors and with Cam.
Coach, a
Speaking
lot of
of
the guys
rehab, there's a guy like Elijah Vick who recently went off ACL surgery, and he described it as something like a club that until you're part of it, you don't really understand, but it's becoming quite commonplace, and it's not a career-ending injury necessarily anymore. Is that something, seeing it from both sides, that you've seen at all?
Yeah, I have. I mean, you know, from way back when, you know, a guy have a surgery like that, and it was, you know, it was going to be real tough to come back. Now it's one of those things. It's just a matter of once the leg is strong again, once he has the confidence in it, and he's gone through the rehab program, he's ready to roll. You know, these last couple of weeks for him, you know, we've increased his workload, and you see some things that tell you he's getting back in the right direction. So again, as I said, once we get to training camp, you know, it'll be exciting to see exactly who's ready to roll.
Coach, a lot of guys have talked about. Coach, a lot of guys have talked about Bruce Irvin as somebody they've looked to on the defense to kind of help them with that switch to more multiple. What have you seen from him and kind of his role in being a veteran on this defense?
Well, I mean, he's everything I expect him to be. I mean, the system we have now is very similar to the one that he's been in. We're trying to use him very similar to the way that they use him. You go back and look at the stuff that he did when he was in Seattle, and you do see those things. So that's one of the huge pluses about it. Secondly, he is definitely a veteran guy, and you do see him, you know, putting his arm around the young outside linebackers. I mean, it's exciting for those guys to have a guy that's done it and done it very successfully. So that's one of the huge pluses about having it. I mean, it's great to see, you know, Gerald McCoy out here with the guys and watch how he and, you know, the group of D linemen are interacting. So, you know, we've helped ourselves, I think, in more ways than one.
He was
Right.
saying that the pass rush is like one of the keys to going far in January. Between McCoy, Burns, Irvin, that's obviously been a focus this offseason.
Well, I think, again, just, you know, trying to be a better football team has really truly been the focus. And just trying to improve on the areas that we feel we needed to. And that most certainly is one of them.
You
Coach, a guy like Tamarick Hemingway, we've been here a couple of weeks. How do you feel like the progress?
You know, it's kind of neat. The hard part for these young guys to get here is there's such volume to learn. And when a kid who's got athleticism, you know, you can see it during the drills, but when you get into teamwork, it's tough because you know he's thinking. And so for him, you know, it's learning and getting it down, and then building the confidence that when you're out there, you're doing the right thing. Because, you know, when you're not sure, it slows you down. It slows your play. You don't get to see the true athleticism. So the things that he knows and he does well, you can see.
Ron, what are your thoughts on the league study and using marijuana as the pain management?
Cool. I mean, you know, it's just one of those things. I think until it's, you know, been decided by the league, you know, we'll just continue to follow the rules. So it's, you know, it's not up to me.
Ron, I know he's not necessarily a skill guy, but it looks like Alex Armaugh's getting a little more work in the passing game. How do you see his role?
Well, the biggest thing is when you do have to have a bigger back in there to protect. I mean, you know, Alex is obviously got to be able to handle that portion of it, you know. So again, he'll continue to get his work and development, and you know, we'll see how he does out there.
Ron, are there one or two competitions at camp you're most looking forward to kind of seeing how it shakes out, or more important to shake out?
Well, I think the biggest thing will be obviously the development of the offensive line. We've got some young guys that are going to have to contribute. That'll be interesting to watch. And then, you know, how the secondary is coming together. You know, probably the one position obviously is the free safety spot, and we've got to see who's going to step up and take that lead. So, again, we've got some interesting situations coming up for us, and I'm excited. Like I said, I really look forward to getting to training camp. Obviously, after I've had a little bit of a break, but I do look forward to it.
You mentioned the secondary. Is Cole Luke somebody that you admire his versatility?
Oh, absolutely. I think Cole's done a nice job establishing himself as a player for us, and he continues to work hard. And I think he's a guy that, you know, has a great opportunity. So again, we'll see. You know, there's going to be some real interesting battles, some great competition out there, and hopefully it'll make us better.
Is it helpful being on the practice squad and then, you know, for a couple of years and learning the?
Yes, I think it is, because, you know, you get an opportunity to practice every day and work your skill set. And as a practice squad player, you end up doing a lot more than just, you know, if you're a corner lining up at corner. He's lined up at everywhere from corner, nickel, safety, did some wide receiver stuff for us when we've had to. So that's one of the benefits about being on the practice squad.